Hey, what's going on, Vince?
BZM.
Vince Wilburn Jr., drummer extraordinaire, nephew of Miles Davis, here with me, Brian Zimmerman, executive editor of Jazz's Magazine, for our favorite day of the week, everyone's favorite day of the week, Miles Monday, the day we celebrate all things Miles Monday. It helps make, I don't know about you, but it helps make my Mondays. I kind of look forward to them now. I used to dread them going to bed Sunday night. Now I know I got Miles Monday to look forward to. I'm all about it.
And I'm so excited, B. I don't want to blow you and Jeff up like on Saturdays, because I know you're. I'm excited about Monday on Saturday. I'm like, hey guys, we're ready.
Absolutely, man. It is an exciting day of the week, and it's an exciting episode today. Vince, you can see I got the guitar out behind me. I've kind of fallen into a guitar spiral. So I busted out the axe. I've been practicing, and of course that meant I had to start listening to some Mahavishnu Orchestra. I just had to, which is why I'm super excited for today's guest. That will be bassist Ralphe Armstrong. Now, Ralph is from Detroit, born and raised. And correct me if I'm wrong, Vince. This cat started playing with the Mahavishnu Orchestra when he was like in his teens. Yeah.
Teenager, man.
He has an incredible story, and from Mahavishnu, it's on to Jean-Luc Ponty, Herbie Hancock, Frank Zappa. Dude has played with everybody.
The Queen of Soul,
Aretha.
Oh
Yeah. Well, when you're from Detroit and you're that good of a bass player, it's inevitable. You'll be playing. So I'm super excited for him to be here. Also has some Miles Davis connections too, because I think one of his earliest teachers was a teacher of Miles Davis. Miles Davis came and heard him play at one point. There's a lot to talk about with the one, the only Ralphe Armstrong.
Let's bring him on.
Let's bring him on. Ralph, are you there, man?
Yes, I am.
Ralph!
Hey.
Joining us from the D. Detroit.
Yes,
Detroit's own.
How have you been, Ralph? How's life been these past crazy few months?
Oh, it's been strange as hell. Very unusual. But guess what? It's been good. You have to change everything, man. I did a recording with Carlos Santana and Michael Narda called The Quarantine Blues.
Whoa.
And that's on YouTube. And that was really nice. And John McLaughlin.
Wow, man.
Something. Yeah, John McLaughlin is on it, and Cindy Blackman.
I saw that.
Wife, yeah. And that was nice. That really uplifted my spirits to play with Carlos. I haven't played with him in 35 years.
Wow. And how long from John? You playing with John?
Oh, shoot. 40.
Wow.
And how'd it feel? How'd it feel?
It felt great.
Just like old times?
We were all doing files and stuff. And we all got together, and it worked out really well, man. Really well.
Cool. That video is out there. Ralph, if you send it to us, we'll post it when we post this live stream so that people can watch it.
Okay, I'll get it. Well, Vince has got it, I think, don't you, Vince?
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it to B.
I can send it.
Send it to B. I'll send it to me. I'll send it to B. Or we, all on the same email.
Yeah.
Okay.
The email chain.
I'll do it.
And then any other, you got new music coming out, all of that. Just
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. Working on some new music, and it's kind of in the R&B realm right now. I still got a lot of that R&B and rock is in my blood. I played with Frank Zappa, and then I also played with Jeff Beck and
BZM and I, not to cut you off, Ralph, but we were talking about it backstage. Duano Martin, my cuz. People are chiming in. Back in the day, BZM and I were talking about how old were you when you first started playing with Mahavishnu, and how did that gig come about?
Yeah.
I was 17 years old when I got with John McLaughlin.
How did that happen?
That's a long story. I was I'm gonna tell you the whole story. I'm gonna be brief as I can. I was coming from Cass Technical High School one day.
Okay.
And I had my Czech bass fiddle. I got off the bus on Seminole Street and walked down to Michael Henderson's house.
The Michael
Henderson. And he was playing with Miles at that time.
Okay.
He was still with Miles.
Oh, wow.
So went by his house, and he said, man, I know these bad cats in Connecticut that need a bass player. So I played over the phone for Sandy Turano and Michael Narada Walden. Next thing I knew, and I was like 15, maybe 15, okay. And he sent me an airplane ticket. And me and Narada and Sandy had a group called the New McGuire Sisters. Don't ask me why we would call that, because we were all straight dudes. So we were up there playing, and we had all of this damn rock equipment. Man, I had like 4 Ampeg SVTs. Man, to shake the damn barn we had. We were on like a farm in Canaan, Connecticut. So Narada, it kept talking about, Mahavishnu's coming. Mahavishnu's coming. I said, who the hell is Mahavishnu? I thought it was a new Indian dish. So John came up to this farm to audition me. I really didn't know anything about it. It was like a surprise. And he freaked out over me because I played a fretless Fender bass.
And he had never heard it?
Nobody was playing them.
Okay.
I got introduced to the fretless bass because of the great James Jamerson.
Okay,
he
sure.
told me one night, he says, everybody wants to know why I can play the fretless bass. I know the technique. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about, technique? You know, I was a kid, you know. So I looked in a catalog, in 1972 catalog, there was a Fender bass, fretless. It was a Sunburst, and I had just got a candy apple one. So I swapped the neck for like $70, man, and put it on there. And, you know, me being classically trained, I could play it. You know, I could play it. So John freaked. He went nuts. Fretless bass. And then Jocko auditioned too. He was walking around with his bass on his back, man. He was such a character.
Ralph, what tunes was he calling? I mean, what did it, you know, he came up
Yeah,
on
what
the
was that
farm?
audition like?
Giant Steps, Miles Davis stuff, all blues, you know, anything Miles, and we played the hell out of So What? You know, it was up there. It was like flying. It was like at 250.
Wow.
Ridiculous tempos. So Jocko didn't get the gig, and he was walking around. We were the best of friends. So I was honored to get that gig because of the great James Jamerson introducing me to the fretless bass. Then Jocko ripped his frets out of this jazz bass. I don't care what nobody says. I was there. And he put epoxy in it.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest sounding instrument I've ever heard in my life. You play C, it sounded like B flat. It sounded like rubber blue. Yeah. I was like, whoa. So finally, he got it cooled out. Some cat in New York hooked him up. He was playing with Joe Zawinul at the Bottom Line in New York. I went down there. He said, man, check out the bass, man. He was really a nice cat, man. We were best of friends. And I played, I said, now you got it right, dog. And we just hung out all night and played, you know.
And you and Narada, you know, because Narada's from Michigan too, right?
Right. He's from Kalamazoo, close to where you were.
So y'all, you didn't grow up together. You all knew of it. How did y'all hook up together?
Well, we hooked up through Michael Henderson.
Okay.
I met him in Connecticut.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man.
And then share with our listeners, if you may, the hookup with the Lifetime and Tony Williams, Tony Newton, all the Detroit connection.
Man, look here. I heard Tony Newton. Me and Narada went. I had just moved to New York. This had to be 74. And I went down to the Vanguard, and Tony Newton was playing. He had Anthony Jackson on bass, and his wife was singing Tequila. She was singing. Man,
wait. Anthony Jackson and Tony Williams were playing together?
Yeah, he was a bass player.
Really?
He was a bass player in Lifetime, brother.
Get out of here.
The bass player, and was burning.
I never did.
He wasn't taking no, and it was the first time I really heard somebody play with a pick on the bass. And to this day, I don't give a damn who it is. Nobody can play the bass with a pick like Anthony Jackson can. I mean, he plays bass with it, brother.
Was Alan Holdsworth in the band then, and Alan Pasqua? Was this
Pasqua was in the band.
okay, but not Holdsworth?
That's so long. And guess who was on piano? And he worked with Miles. Crazy as hell.
Who?
Crazy. Cedric Lawson.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
Because he was in the band when I was going to go out with Miles. So anyway, Tony played so much drums. It seemed like he was going to levitate around the room. And we became friends. The worst thing I ever did in my career was not go to Montreal, Switzerland with Tony Newton. I was burned out as a kid from traveling.
You mean with Tony Williams?
Tony Williams, sorry. Tony Williams. So what happened, Tony Williams needed a bass player. So only cat I could think of who could really play that kind of stuff from Detroit was Tony Newton.
Wow.
Because Tony is funny thing. I took Tony Newton's place with Smokey Robinson.
Wow.
Tony could play. And I tell a lot of bass players, they always come up with this BS about James Jamerson. Oh, it was the bass. It was the amp. Look, James Jamerson could play on a 2x4 with some catgut string. It sounds like Jamerson. People need to quit. They don't understand. It's the same principles that Ron Carter taught me. James Jamerson was a bassist. He came from Ray Brown. That was his mentor. Really? Yes. And I'm telling you what I know, and you can check with his daughter and his wife. They're living. Everybody knows that, who's from Detroit. Not the amp, the strings. And people tickle me with this, excuse the language, BS about, the flat wound string. I saw James Jamerson play on one of Paul McCartney basses with rotor sounds. And it sounded like Jamerson.
So, Ralph, all you cats is Nate Watts. All you cats were
He's
coming
here,
up.
by the way.
He's in Detroit. All you cats were coming up around the same time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and Nate got our start at you know what's funny? This is a brief. I got to tell you about this.
For our listeners, Nate Watts is the bass player with Stevie. He's been with Stevie for how long, Ralph?
50. No, wait a minute, not 50. 47 years.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My very first day in New York, we were at Ed Sullivan Studios. Me and Nate argued about this. He said it was SIR, but it was Ed Sullivan right there on 54th Street and 8th Avenue. I'm in the room rehearsing all this hard music with John McLaughlin, and I heard somebody say, Nate! Screaming, Nate! Turn down the E flat! And I went in the other room. It was Stevie and Nate. We got our big break at the same time.
That's incredible.
When you see Nate interview him, he'll tell you about it too.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I've been blessed. God has blessed me, man.
And a lot of the Detroit musicians have this connection back to Cass Technical High School, right? I mean, it's a major high school, had a great music program, right?
Yeah. It's a school for arts and science. You know, it's and a lot of designers of automobiles have come out of Cass.
Yeah,
you know, it's what you would call a specialty school,
right? And now, was it while you were there that you were taking lessons with? Who was it that gave you music lessons that also taught Miles Davis in St. Louis?
Oh God! But let me go back to Cass real quick, and I get
okay. Yeah,
I went to school with Geri Allen.
Okay. Yes.
With, you know, me and Vince on with Jerry and Wallace Roney. They were our dear friends, and I missed them so much. And in that class, we had this young guy on the piano. His name was Greg Phillinganes.
Wow.
And also a producer who's out in LA, and actually in San Diego, is Kamal Kenyatta.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now
back to
but Ray didn't go to Cass, right? Ray Parker.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Ray Parker
went
there for a semester.
Ollie
and
Brown.
Then he did this. Ollie went to Northwestern, but what's funny, Ray was like me. He went to Cass, and I had got sick, so my mom said, "Well, you go to Northwestern for a semester and go back." You know, so I went to Northwestern, right? And Ray had just got out of there. Ray went to Cass and Northwestern.
Wow.
Ray Parker is a very well-educated musician. He can really play. A lot of people don't know about Ray. He can play the guitar like West Montgomery, man.
Yeah.
You know, all the rock and roll stuff he's done. But now let me get to the teacher I had that taught Miles. I went to Barber Junior High School, which was down the street from Michael Henderson's home. I had this guy. I had not guy, but this Mr. I had Alfred Hickman. Has anybody ever seen the Andy Griffith Show and seen Floyd the Barber?
Yeah.
He looked just like Floyd the Barber, a black guy. He was, you know, he could pass for Caucasian. And he said, Ralph, you know, you ever heard that boy Miles? He was my paper boy. And he told me about Miles in East St. Louis, and he taught him at some school. I can't remember in East St. Louis. But
where his high school was Lincoln, Lincoln High.
Okay, well, it was a junior high school.
Okay.
We had junior highs back then. So you know, he told me all about Miles and Duke Ellington and Slam Stewart, and I didn't know about these guys. You know, I was like 13 with Al Hickman.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to Marcus Belgrave at the age of. And Marcus introduced me to a lot of jazz artists like Yusuf Lateef. I played with Yusuf Lateef when I was 14.
Wow.
Now, I got one thing to say about all of this stuff. I heard James Jamerson play bass behind Yusuf Lateef, Charles McPherson, and Tommy Flanagan was on piano. They were with the DeSace Players Big Band. They were swinging.
Straight ahead, swinging. Yes.
You help me push.
And James is walking.
Right.
Holding it down.
Walking like Ray Brown.
Hey, Ralph, what about Eli Fontaine?
Oh, God. That was, you know, his nickname was the Golden Horn.
He played tenor.
Okay.
No. He played alto.
Did he play alto? I thought he played tenor.
No.
He's
He's played on What's Going On. And
alto.
The originals, Baby, I'm For Real.
Yeah.
He played on some of the Dell stuff.
Yeah.
That high.
You know, Michael used to talk about it, and Marcus played on Michael Henderson at the concert. That's that trumpet solo.
I played on that recording too.
That track?
Guess what I played on?
I
played guitar on it. Be My
Get
Girl.
out of
Look
here.
at the credit. Look at the credits. I still get royalties from it.
Wow.
After this dance is over, just shopping, not buying anything. When it comes, da 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 da, that's me on guitar.
And Michael said he wrote Starship for Miles.
He did.
You know, yeah.
That's right, man. You know, it's so funny. I did the session, and guess who was on guitar? And they messed with me during the whole session. It was Ray Parker Jr., Wah Watson. Wawa was throwing peanuts at me. What you doing up here with a guitar? You know nothing about no guitar. How dare Ray Parker was like, how dare you sit next to the master? And I said, Michael threw me in this shit. Because I was a funk player.
Hey, Ralph, I did a session with Wawa and Brian.
Yeah.
He'll give you like 20 tracks, right, Ralph? 20 different tracks of guitar. And so when you're mixing, you have all these, all these different tracks that you can mix on one song.
Whoa.
Like he'll play a figure, he'll play a line, right, Ralph? And then he said, okay, now give me another track. And then he'll play something slicker than that. Then he said, okay, give me another track. He'll have 10 tracks for one song, and all of it, it works together.
Right.
It never clashes. He's man, Wawa Watson, boy.
You know, he was the first person that showed me how to slap the bass and pop when I was in the Headhunters.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you how I got to gig with the Headhunters.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah.
I was in, Michael Henderson got me to gig with Miles. This was January 1976. Miles, I love Miles on my heart, man. Because everything I do is pertaining to Miles, the philosophy of my music. And also the music that we did with Mahavishnu, a lot of that stuff comes from Miles' ideas.
Yeah.
Everything we did, John would talk about, I want you to think like Miles. Everything was Miles. Even going back to my brother, back in the 50s, they used to hang on 69th and Cottage Grove. My brother Tommy played with Miles. You know, they
69th
were
and Cottage
friends.
Grove is in Chicago, y'all.
Right.
South side of Chicago.
Amen.
Wow.
Yes, and it's all pertaining to his music, you know, the concepts. Because Miles, he always tried to show us something different, you know, new concepts, a new idea. I'm trying to find this picture real quick. I know I got it. Just give me a second. I know it's coming up. I see it somewhere. I want you to see this. Great.
We know. Hey, Ralph. This is 2020. We can edit that picture in. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I'm gonna send it to you. You got it, but damn, I have it somewhere.
See, BZM. That's how them cats from Motown do. You know.
Yeah, right, man. Old school. No. I love it. I love it.
Old, but
me too.
Viagra, so I'm all right.
No.
Man, I'm trying to think. 76 miles. Yeah, go ahead.
But what happened? Miles came to hear me play at Bill Cosby's joint in the Village. I don't know if you guys remember, he had a place. Bill Cosby had a jazz club in the Village. I think it was on 7th Avenue, maybe like 20th or something. It's been so long, you know. So anyway, I'm playing there with Marcus Belgrave, Curtis Fuller, Roy Brooks, Tommy Flanagan, and Teddy Harris. We're all playing Donald Warren, all the cats from Detroit. And I called Miles as soon as I get near. I said, Miles, I'm in Detroit. I'm in New York. He says, I'll be through. So I'm playing the bass. We're swinging like it's the end of the earth. Miles walks in with a purple suit on looking like Prince. Purple crushed velvet suit. And he looked at me. He just stood there. He said, let me see if I can get my hand. I said, Fat boy. And walked out. I cried like a little baby. I said, Miles, come back. And then I called him the next day because he always picked up the phone. He said, I just want to hear you play one note. And Michael was right. You got a fat sound.
There you
Wow,
go.
wow.
Boy, you got to get click.
And hung up.
Wow.
Yeah, next thing, I still got the plane ticket he sent me, all the stuff. So every Saturday, we would discuss music. Miles told me, he said, I don't want you to play all that stuff you've been playing because you play too much. You done paid for the bass. It ain't going nowhere. I said, yeah, Miles. And then I want you to find some little kids and see what they playing. I said, okay. If it's hip, I want you to steal it and then bring it to me. And I said, okay. Wow. And what he was saying is, people don't get this about jazz music. It has to evolve. You have to come up with new concepts. There's some young guys in Detroit called Modern Element. They're playing some jazz music. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's hip.
Yeah.
It sounded like a car blowing up or something. I was like, what kind of squeak, cuckoo, squeak? They're like, yeah, man, you know, swinging. What kind of music is this? But it's some new stuff. It's fresh. The music has to evolve. Yeah. You know, and then if it doesn't, it's like classical music. It stays the same. It's boring, and it's just like working at Chrysler.
That was Miles, man. Looking to the future. Future.
Right. But now, let me get to all it. Now, get to this end of the story. And I'll quit running my mouth. Now, you know about Miles had that car accident, broke his hip. Yeah. Was it leg? Right. The leg. Was it the leg? His leg. We didn't go on. We were going to Switzerland. This is 76. No, 77 now. Okay. So I'm upset. So I go to New York with Frank Zappa. The plane stopped in Chicago. And I'm on the airplane in first class. And I'm sitting next to this cat. I look up. It's Herbie Hancock. And he said, yeah, man, I'm going to see Miles in the hospital. And I said, oh, man, you know, we're not going nowhere. So you know what Herbie said? He said, well, come on, play bass with me. That's how that was it. Yep.
On
That
the
was
plane.
it for the Headhunters.
On the plane. Because see, Herbie heard me when I was with John McLaughlin. We used to tour together. So he was familiar with what I was playing. And that was a great experience, man. What a
Ralph,
wonderful.
who was playing drums when in the Headhunters then?
James Levi.
Woo, yeah, from Oakland.
Yeah, and lived off Detroit Avenue.
Yeah.
I stayed at his crib one night. That's a funky cat.
He's still in Oakland, man. I call him from time to time.
Yeah, give him my blessings, man.
Yeah.
He could play, man. And
he's nasty.
Benny was in the band. He had 2 guitars on some gigs. He had Blackbird, who I just saw last year. We were at the NAMM show.
Yeah,
and
Blackbird.
Then he had Wawa. Wawa had his box he was talking through. And
very cool.
I've got reviews of it and stuff, concerts, and I got a lot of things I could send you.
Send it on over.
Send them to us. Send it to us, Ralph.
Right here. I can't get this right.
Just send it to us. We'll post it up.
We'll post it.
His angle. It's all good.
That's all right, man. You record with the Headhunters? You did, right?
No, we did. You know what? We did. It's a funny thing. We did Julian Priester, Eddie Henderson. We did Benny Maupin's Slow Moving Traffic recording with Patrice was on keyboard on that. And I think Herbie's on one tune.
Okay.
Blackbird.
Okay.
No, I didn't record with him. But we have been friends ever. Herbie's got the same number he had 35 years ago. Same phone number.
And same address.
That's right.
Well, we can't give out.
Stay at Beverly Hills.
We can't give it out.
Yeah, no, hell no. Herbie, he might get mad one time. Because I never seen him mad, but I never will forget I missed one on Sunflower. It was Sunflower. Yeah, Sunflower. Da, 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 da. And I missed it, and I didn't know Herbie didn't play one. You had to play one. He plays one every 50 or 60 bars.
So it bottomed out.
Your shit's got to be right.
Yeah.
But he's just a wonderful human being, man. Wonderful.
Absolutely, man. And how about Zappa? I mean, because that was
like being in the Merchant Marines in the Army. That shit, man. I was so glad to be going out with Miles and Herbie because Frank wore me out. It was
he ran a tight ship,
at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You're on the airplane at 8:30. You got to the hotel room for 1 hour. You rehearsed, sound check for an hour, ate dinner for an hour, go back to the hotel room for an hour. Then you played a concert. Then you were free at 12 o'clock midnight.
Damn.
Wow.
Every day.
Hey, Ralph.
Kept us on. Yes, sir.
No, go keep. I got a question, but go keep talking.
No, he kept us on salary.
Damn. That was Butterfly you were talking about, right? You said Sunflower.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what was it like dealing with the time signatures with certain, with everybody you work with? Like,
we rehearsed a lot, and we used to subdivide stuff. Like if it's something 7, you would count it in 3.5 or something.
Okay. Wow.
And it just got to we rehearsed John McLaughlin. We rehearsed 8 hours a day, man.
Another question: how do you approach like Mahavishnu? Like B. Zim said, from Mahavishnu to Zappa to Benny and then you were with Aretha for years. How do you approach the different gigs? I mean, you have to. What kind of mindset for me and the listeners and everybody that listens and checks us out, and bass players out there? So tell the bass players how do you
have to play what the artist wants the concept. You have to study the concept, what the person wants. It's like with Aretha. She was very similar in a way to Miles, as far as her way of thinking.
I can see that.
For 35 years on and off, and she fired me 30 times. Seriously, we were the best of friends.
That's because she loves you.
Yeah, I loved her, and the thing was, she was always trying to find something different. But one thing about Aretha, people don't understand. They would be playing. I've seen a lot of drummers go. I've seen a lot of guitar players go. Me and Chuck Rainey talk about this a lot. We're very good friends. The great Chuck Rainey, he was my idol. And I never dreamed I'd be good friends with Chuck, you know. But what it was, Aretha wanted you to play. That sitting back there, like Zappa was like that too. You can't just sit back and be, I don't know what to do here. You better get down. Aretha tickled me. It was this one guitar player. I'm not gonna mention his name. I got Russell Malone the gig. You know, Russell played with Aretha before.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I got him the gig. And Ralph, I want a guitar. I need a guitar. She always called me because I've been associated with the Musicians Union for musicians. So this certain guitar player that could really play, this cat's a master. But when he would get with Aretha, he kind of be quiet and clam up. And she looked at me. He didn't show me shit. He got to play. Is he gonna play? I want to play. And then Russell came. She was like, yeah. Well, Russell said today we had 4 pieces in New York. One of the last gigs we did in 2017.
Who's on drums?
Narda and Galen McKinney. She had 2 drummers like James Brown.
Narda played with Aretha?
He wrote all that music. Yeah.
I know back in the day though, too.
Yeah. He wrote Pink Cadillac.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
I did Curtis Mayfield's
Freeway of Love. He did Freeway of Love too.
Right. But we did New World Order. Curtis
I love that
Mayfield,
record. I love that record.
I'm
I
on
love
bass.
it. Get out of here.
Singing. Aretha sang. My name is on it. So what's so killer about that? Aretha was in the studio and Narada was saying, "Oh, Aretha, I just want you." No, Aretha, could you? I said no. It sounds good. You know, but she really knew what she wanted, and that's something that makes it easier for a musician.
Yeah.
See, if it's the worst thing you could have is being with a producer. You know, that's why I worked with Tio before, you know, with Jerry and Wallace and Antoine. We did that recording. Jerry, one of her last recordings. And Tio was like, just do this. He said I reminded him of Mingus on the bass. Yeah, Mingus was something else. But anyway, you have to play. You can't be reserved. Play. If a person is telling you play to, like Miles will say, don't play so much. And then you chill out. And I never will forget this one story, and you were there the next night. We played at Catalina's, me, Geri Allen, and Lenny White.
Great band.
Yeah, Lenny would, beg your pardon?
It was a killer band.
Yeah. But Lenny would always say, man, you dragging the beat, man. Dragging the beat. So I said, I'm going to fix his ass. I drank 2 Mountain Dews. I had 500 milligrams of ginseng and some espresso. And we were playing T for 2. Da, 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 da. Lenny played a drink. He said, slow down. I said, slow down. Finally, he hit Lenny hit the snare drum.
Right.
Slow down. He said, man, don't take no more ginseng, man. Don't. But I love, you know how me and Lenny, we the best of friends, man. We played, man. I just played with him matter of fact, about 8 months ago.
Yeah, the video from Detroit Jazz Festival, the trio, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, man.
Man. Yeah.
And Ralph, you played with Curtis too? Curtis Mayfield, when was that?
I recorded with Curtis Mayfield.
Okay.
That was, oh my God, that had to be 2000. We did
New World Order.
No, New World Order. Okay.
Let's Get Back to Living Again. It's a great song, and they need to start playing it because after this COVID is through and our country gets back, we got to get back to living again. When I get depressed, I play that song.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Did you get to hang with Curtis? I mean, were you in the studio with him, or did you just lay down a track?
No, we just laid the tracks down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we all talked to him, and Aretha sung on there too. She was at the end. She comes on at the end saying, "Go ahead, Mayfield."
Yeah, because they go back, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
They go way back.
Yeah.
Hey, Ralph, what do you share with your students when you're teaching? Do you tell them
where now, Ralph?
Yeah,
I shared the same concepts that Ron Carter and I've been around a lot of great bass teachers, even like my professor Larry Hurst. The key to a bass player, and the same thing with James Jamerson would tell me, is to get a sound. The people, it really pisses me off when I hear these musicians, you got to have this kind of bass. Oh, these kind of strings. I don't give a shit what you have. You have to develop a sound in your hands. I can play any, I got basses. I got like 36 basses in here. I don't know if you've seen here. I turn around and see some of them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's just some.
Quite the collection, man.
I've got, no, that's just, look.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
That's a sprinkling of it. The expensive ones in steel cases in the back of my apartment. But I have all kind of basses. But it's the sound. You have to learn how to develop a sound out of the instrument, the tone. And that, like Ron Carter had me play a C scale. I think it had to be 1,282 times until it sounded right. He was watching a basketball game. He was like, Ross says, it still doesn't sound right. I was like, Mr. Carter, I'm getting tired. Wait a minute. One face is shooting. Hold on. Okay, now go back to work. And it's right. But it teaches you to get a sound. Then, like, I got gadgets, Digitex, all kind of, delays and, all kind of stuff to make sounds. And I use rotor sound, I use labella strings. But all of that shit, it don't matter. It's the sound you have in with you.
Because you had a sound, man. Jamerson had a sound.
Yeah. Ron,
Michael Henderson, Ron, Paul Chambers, Bob Hurst, all you cats got your own sound.
Right. And it's getting a tone out of the bass.
Nate Watts.
I work on my students just to walk the tetrachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If you get it to sound like music. You'd be surprised. It's a lot of bass players to this day that are in college, which I've had, that can't even play an 8-tone scale, making it sound like music.
Yeah.
Sounds like SHIT.
Sounds like practice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it must have been for you, because you have a very strong classical background. Who first got you into jazz? Was it Marcus Belgrave, King of Detroit? Or?
I have to go back to Miles' teacher, Al Hickman, because he introduced me to Duke Ellington.
Gotcha.
And Lionel Hampton, and Benny Goodman, and Miles, and he was the first cat. Slam Stewart.
Yeah.
He was the first cat, man. And then Marcus did too, but then Wendell Harrison. There's so many. And I would go back to Alfred Hickman because it had to start. He was the one that lit the match.
Right. And I imagine at the same time, just growing up in Detroit with all this great music around you, you've got funk, you've got Motown, you've got a little bit of everything.
It really is. And rock and roll too.
And rock and roll. Yeah. But by the time you had gotten to Mahavishnu, I mean, were you prepared to hear anything like that? Or was that like anything you ever heard to that point?
Well, I was into Jimi Hendrix.
One of
the most, it was so funny. One of the greatest times of my life was recording at Electric Lady Studio with John McLaughlin. Right off, I believe it was right off of 7th Avenue. And all the cats would come through there, John Blair, the violinist, and it was like a happening, man. It's being Electric Lady. And one of my great memories of music was playing at the Jimi Hendrix Festival with John McLaughlin, Neil Schon, Michael Narda Walden, Mitch Mitchell, Buddy Miles, Tom Costa. We worked together with Santana. He was on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And Jumi was playing congas. Jimi Hendrix conga player, Jumi. And all the Hendrix cats, man. And I learned so much about Jimi Hendrix. That was one of the greatest times in my life. That gig at Bumbershoot. There was 50,000 people there. Wow. But one thing I found out about Jimi Hendrix through Billy Cox and Noel Redding is that he was not a drug abuser. He experimented with drugs.
Okay.
And you know what Billy told me? He said, think about this. And Mitch Mitchell said the same thing. He said, think about this. How could he write all that music if he was a drug addict?
Yeah.
And that's why I was glad to be there, because they gave me another perspective of this guy. And a lot of the old blues cats knew Jimmy. They call him Jimmy James.
Yeah, right.
Acid, Johnny, and your boy Buddy Guy. They all played with Jimmy.
Right. So that turned your ear out a little bit to some new stuff.
So now I got some new stuff it's a lot of Jimmy. You know, if you listen to a lot of those recordings I've done with the effects pedals, I've done distortion devices, and it's a lot of that in me, you know.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
I got some new shit for
next. Yeah, what are you working on now, Ralph?
My new recording is taking my time. I'm just taking my time, and I got some stuff for women. There's a song I wrote called Blue Mashed Potatoes. I hope all you listeners out there go to YouTube and see it. It's a song I wrote dedicated to Frank Zappa. And it's about this man. He was in love with an ugly woman. She weighed 299 pounds. When you take her to the zoo, she need 2 tickets. One to get in, the other to get out. And this man couldn't figure out why he was in love with this ugly woman. So finally, he was at the dinner table with this ugly woman, and he looked at the potatoes, and the potatoes were blue. And he looked at her with his big old gorilla face and then flashlight looking eyes. He said, oh, baby, please tell me why the mashed potatoes are blue. So he took a bite of these mashed potatoes. She lost 122 pounds. Took another bite of these mashed potatoes. She started to look like Janet Jackson. She took a third bite of these mashed potatoes. He felt the blood flow down to the male anatomy.
Oh, boy.
He found out that this grizzly bear-looking woman was grinding up Viagra with these mashed potatoes. That's the name of my song, Blue Mashed Potatoes. I'm waiting for fire to get
So for all you young bass players out here.
That's the secret. I love it, man.
Blue mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
very cool, man.
Blues, yeah, man. So
we will look that up.
Still a lot of Zappa in me and Miles. You know, Zappa always taught me how to be an entertainer. You know, that's what Zappa did.
Ralph, one of the things I love about you, not to cut you off, please.
Go ahead, man.
You never get pigeonholed into any genre of music, and you're always open. Hey, BZM, Ralph will never say no. If the money's right, Ralph is like, okay, send me an airline ticket, first class, and I'm there.
That's
and
right.
It gets it done. It gets it done. Yeah, your versatility, man, is incredible. Man.
And Ralph, that's the heart that you have, man. You've always had it. Go ahead.
But you know what I found out, Vince? It's that if being a musician, like, you know, when I had hard times in my life, you know, not real hard, but when you have a family, it's never enough money. Now, what I did, I had to provide for my kids when all of the rock star stuff stopped. So I ended up working in the theaters playing, you know, the Pinafore and South Pacific. I worked with Robert Goulet, you know, and Topo, the Sound of Music, and you know, I did Fiddler on the Roof, you know, and that's, you know, you have to be a musician, you know. But at this age now, I paid my dues and I've been blessed. I don't have to do that no more, unless I. But I tell you what, I did do. I was hanging out with. I did Tommy. I was with Pete Townsend about 12 months, about a year ago. We were hanging. We did Where Your Boy Is At, the Little Caesars. And the contractor said, "We want to play this gig." I said, "Who is the who?" And they hooked my bass up to the sound system with my pickup. It was dope, man. It was some good music.
Wait. Little Caesar, you talking about the arena?
Yeah,
the arena. Yeah.
Come on, you got to break it down, because you know they probably thought you were talking about
the pizza joint.
No pizza. But we hung out with you know, Pete, and we talked because we know a lot of same agents, you know, like Harvey Goldsmith, all of the big shot agents in England. You know, I was blessed to work with Harvey Goldsmith and George Martin, the producer of the Beatles. And London, yeah, I stayed in London for like 7 months at one time. And this wonderful Jeff Beck would pick me up every night in his 32 Ford, man. And we're going to the scene. We're going to the scene, the speakeasy, and all the Peter Van Hook and all the cats in London be hanging out. And I was like in this rock and roll world at that time.
Oh man, just playing with all those British rock cats.
Yeah,
Beck,
but
Pete
you know, British musicians are wonderful.
Yeah.
They're well educated too.
Yeah. But in every project, Ralph, it's always sounds like Ralph, like you were saying. It's never just a background track with you. You know, it's it's a musician there. You know, and that's a beautiful thing.
I can't wait to record with Vince because I know he got some dope stuff.
Oh, we got some stuff, and you're fearless, man. You got, I have to save up some money and get you out here.
You ain't got to save up no money.
And I'm gonna get the vaccine from BZM so we can get you.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get that vaccine because it's about ready to happen. Detroit is doing good. It's just the suburbanites don't get it. You know, you just have to protect yourself, man.
BZM, if you're ever playing in Detroit, call Ralph and he'll, it's such a joy
give him my number. Yes,
to play with him, BZM, and then to hang with him.
I bet, man.
Because
I bet, man. It opens doors.
And get your rest. Get your rest before you go to Detroit.
We're gonna be burning the midnight.
This cat came to Detroit and spent $1,000 at the bar. Man, he was drinking booze, and the funny thing about it,
wrong shit.
He was with Lottie the Body.
Wrong show. Wrong show.
Dancing with Lottie, the great Lottie the Body, who Red Fox talks about. She just passed this year.
So for you young bass players, don't spend money $1,000 at the bar with Ralphe Armstrong.
Young everybody, doesn't matter what instrument you play.
Made the whole bar. We was drinking, but he wasn't drinking nothing cheap. He was drinking Louis XV.
Hey!
Vince has good taste.
Wrong show. Wrong show.
That's good taste.
I'm messing with you, man, but it's all love, man. It's just a pleasure to be here.
Family.
Likewise, Ralph, man. This has been excellent, dude. Thank you so much. I mean, the stories, man. Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many more I could even tell you.
We're gonna have to have you back, man.
Behind you, what bass is that?
That is an old Epiphone from the 50s. I'm not a bass player. I'll dabble a little. My main axe is actually trumpet. This is a nice set piece, and I'll play every now and then. But
let me tell you something. I have an Epiphone behind my head.
Yeah.
It was given to me, and it belonged to a great bass player. I was just talking to Ron Carter about it. I have the black bass that Ernie Farrell played, who played with Yusuf Lateef for years. And he also played, Ernie Farrell played with John Coltrane for a minute. A lot of people don't know that. He was a great bass player in Detroit. Ernie Farrell. I have his bass. It was given to me. I'm going to restore it. It really doesn't need much. I'm going to change the fingerboard as rosewood because back then at that time they were in this. People don't know in the middle 40s they were slapping a bass.
Right.
And rosewood was the wood because it was bright,
Right. Yeah, but those Epiphones from that period, those were solid basses. Those were,
they are excellent bass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what it's worth, right? It's worth something.
Yeah. So I have it.
That's a down payment on a new Lincoln.
Hey, man. Maybe I'll bring it to Detroit. Yeah, man.
No, that's really, a nice one. Understand that it's a esteemed instrument because mine is carved. It's made. It's not laminated.
Right.
When I have behind me, and yours probably might not be laminated either. I never seen one with that blonde finish though. That's what's so weird about it. Is that blonde?
Know. It is. My dad inherited it. He's an attorney and a lawyer. A client gave it to him, and like I say, my main instrument is trumpet, but I'll play every now and then. So
those are serious.
Yeah, hold on to that, B.
Yeah, I will, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next time Ralph is in town, come take a look.
They were made in New Jersey. Some were made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yeah. But they were very fine basses. There's no joke about it. You can play in a symphony orchestra with that bass.
Wow.
Yeah,
it won't happen to me anytime.
But look here, man. I'm gonna go on and see if the money is still in my account. My daughter.
She said she might have figured it out.
Yeah.
I hear them, man. Ralph, we ask the same question to every guest at the end of the show. After we hang up here, what Miles Davis album are you going to be spinning tonight?
Bitches Brew.
All right, beautiful, man.
Because that was the one that turned me out.
Yes,
And
turned a lot of people out.
I never will forget it. But I played that. My mother looked at me and she said, "What kind of music is that?" I never heard that like this. She made me turn it off. I had it on. With Benny Maupin playing the bass.
Bass clarinet. Yeah.
I talked to Benny, man. He had a birthday about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
We keep in touch. He's out there in what is it, Pat?
He lives out here. Yeah. Close to Patrice.
Tell her give my love, Patrice.
I will.
So John McLaughlin for years tried to get Patrice to go on the road, but she didn't want to leave UCLA. She wanted to get educated.
And Muzan, man, that was my man too.
Oh man, I miss Fat.
Yeah,
he was a fun. We used to have so much fun. I never will forget the last story I'm gonna tell you about. We were in I think Turin. Me, Larry, and Wallace was like, "Man, everybody out here got a damn trumpet." John had his trumpet. Alphonse had his trumpet. She was like, "Man, what is this? We ain't no musketeers or nothing." So Alphonse left his trumpet in this cab. No, you know where it was? It was in Skopje, Macedonia. He left it in the cab pull up. You should have seen Alphonse run. He said, "Hey, man."
Did he get it? He got his trumpet back, right?
Yeah, the cat stopped.
Wow.
And Wallace was like, "Man, everybody think they can play the trumpet, man." Some funny shit. That was one band, I tell you. I talked to Joey periodically, Joey DeFrancesco.
Yeah, bad cat.
We all miss, that's one band that everybody got along. I mean, we had so many funny stories. We just got along.
God bless.
That's rare, man. Yeah.
God bless Alphonse Mouzon, man.
Yeah, he was something else.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man.
Thank you, Ralph.
Well, Ralph, man, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I could talk to paying off a new Toyota now.
We'll have to have Ralph back on, man, because stories for days.
Love you, Ralph.
I love it.
And I got to say, my little cousin was drafted in the NBA draft second round, and he's in the Pistons. And I made 2 phone calls, BZM.
Yeah.
I called Ralph and I called Bob Hurst. And both of those brothers said, give him my number. I'll look out for him. And I want to thank you. Thank you, Ralph.
On here, please, because I'm downtown. I can walk to the arena.
Okay.
So I tell him the spots, the hip restaurants, where he can, feel comfortable. Don't worry about nothing,
Yeah.
Because actually, Detroit downtown is booming. It's jumping down there.
Now, see, you talk mess about me. I ain't gonna tell them about your fur coat, that full length mink coat you wore.
I just got it out. It's bad too.
Good look, man.
And BZM, he calls all the shots in Detroit. So don't get it twisted.
King of Detroit. I believe it, man.
The king of Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just a bass player.
The bass player.
Ralph, who everybody loves, because everybody loves you, man. I love you.
Oh, thank you, man. I've been blessed, and I told my daughter today, I said, you got to count what's good in your life. I mean, to live this life I've lived. And I thank God for it, to travel. And now that I'm not traveling, I look back and I can smile on these adventures. And that's been the times that it's a funny thing before we go off. I never told you how I really met Herbie. The first time I met him was through Kali Yassin. Now, wait a minute, let me finish. It's been a long time and when people, they don't know his spiritual name, but his name was Larry Young.
Wow.
And I had an apartment on the 54th floor of the Sheraton. And he came back. We're going to see Brother Herbie Hancock. And he walked through all the security at Carnegie Hall because he was 7 foot and pushing everybody inside, and Herbie was like, huh?
Wow.
That's the first time I met Herbie, through Larry Young, man.
And Larry Young played with the original Lifetime, right? With Tony Williams.
Right, he sure did.
Yeah,
he was also when I was up in Connecticut. He was up there at the time I met John McLaughlin.
I didn't know you knew Sandy Toronto, man.
Larry Young was his organ player.
Sandy Toronto?
Yeah,
I didn't know you knew. Wow.
Sandy's an old friend. Great friend.
Wow. Brother from, hey, that's our brother Donald.
Oh, wow.
Man, thanks everybody for
Australia,
watching.
Jennifer Roberts. Wow.
Gary, Marcel, Astrid, Juan. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Bill, appreciate
Everybody loves Ralph.
Everybody loves Ralph. We're gonna have Ralph back because I have a feeling this is just the first chapter of this book, man. You've got stories.
I'm working on it. I've just started, man. I gotta do it before I get too old. I say I don't remember nothing. But I'm doing good. You know, I only take one Viagra a week, so I'm doing it.
Those blue mashed potatoes, man.
Yeah.
Now everybody's gonna be talking about those blue mashed potatoes.
Laugh your ass off.
There you go.
It's funny. Wait till you see the lady I got in the movie with me. She has a behind like my Lincoln Town Car.
Ralph.
I said behind.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not a strange word.
Hey, Ralph.
Ralph,
she has a nice future behind her.
There you go.
That's what we used to say in Chicago.
I don't know if it's the future. I call it the past. All of them chitlin shit. Yeah. All right, brother, man.
Love you, man.
Ralph, this has been awesome, man.
Pleasure,
thank you so much.
Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
We'll see you later, man. That's right. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll holler at you later, Vince. Love you guys.
Okay. Love you.
So long, Ralph. Bye. Man, that cat, that was excellent, man. I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Now, B, that was your call. For our listeners, that was B Zim. B Zim said, call Ralph.
You gave me a list of names. You said Ralph Armstrong, bass player, play with Mahavishnu. I said, that's the guy. Let's get him on.
That was a beautiful call, man.
Yeah.
Hold on to that bass, B.
I will. Hey, man, I know. I know. If it's Ralph Armstrong approved, man, it's got to be good. But that was great, dude. Thank you for hooking that up. Thank you to Ralph for chatting with us. Thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed seeing your comments. And we do this every Monday. This is Miles Monday. So like us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you know that when we're going live every Monday, we celebrate the life legacy of Miles Davis with musicians that played with him, that know him, that love him. It's what we do. So man.
I want to thank you and Jazziest Magazine for this platform.
Our pleasure, man.
This was your baby.
Our pleasure.
Just so everyone
you made
knows.
it a thing, man. You made it a thing, and it's been a lot of fun. You start with Miles, and you can go so many places because it is a special family, the Miles Davis family.
So in the future, look out for Robert Trujillo from Metallica. I mean, we've got all kind of surprises in store.
Everybody loves Miles.
Yeah, and it's we don't get pigeonholed.
That's right.
Might have some actors and actresses, and
rappers, MCs, producers.
Yeah. Thank you, B.
You're very welcome. Vince, man, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Same to all of our fans watching. Check us out on jazzes.com. Check us out on milesdavis.com.
People are chiming in, or still chiming in.
That's right. The party goes on.
Jeff behind backstage.
Producer Jeff,
we love you, man.
Yep. All right, Vince. Have a great week.
Stay safe.
Happy Miles Monday, man.
Yeah, likewise. Happy Miles Monday. Wear your mask. Stay safe, okay?
Good night, everybody.
Peace.